Welcome to Lesson 6 of our instructional series on assessment. Today, we will focus on vital component of teaching and learning how to develop and use rubrics for alternative assessment. How do you develop and use rubrics for performance assessment? These are the desired significant learning outcomes. By the end of this lesson, you are expected to develop appropriate rubrics to assess students' performance and outputs. Use rubrics to assess students' performance and output. Rubrics provide structure and clarity to performance assessment, so they help us define what quality work looks like and ensuring the consistent grading and offer valuable feedback to students. Significant culminating performance tasks and success indicators. The culminating task is to develop an assessment rubric. You will know you've succeeded. Your rubric includes the essential features of quality assessment tool such as clarity, fairness, alignment with objectives, and positive feedback. What makes a sound rubric? It's not the literal meaning of sound that you usually hear. But sound rubrics means refers to well-constructed, clear, and effective scoring guides or evaluation tools used to assess performance, skills, or product and should possess the following, which is clearly defined criteria, observable and measurable indicators, levels of performance described in detail, alignment with instructional goals. A sound rubric is more than a scoring tool, but its communication device. It sets expectation and supports students in self-assessing their own work. Prerequisite of this lesson. Before starting, make sure that you understand various performance assessment tasks. Know how to design performance tasks, recognize the components of an effective rubric. To engage in this part of the lesson, it's important you review Lesson 3 on performance assessment. That foundational knowledge will help you create meaningful and task-specific rubrics. To end this part of the lesson, which is understand, let me summarize this, so take note. Rubrics are essential for fair and consistent assessment. A sound rubric defines clear, measurable criteria. Your task to create a rubric tailored to a performance output. With the right rubric, assessment become more than just grading, but they become opportunities for growth. Take what you've learned and apply it. Create rubrics that are clear, aligned, and effective. What is a rubric? A rubric is a scoring tool that clearly defines the expectation for an assignment. It provides detailed description of the criteria being assessed and outlines different levels of performance for each criterion. Rubrics help both teachers and students by making assessment more objective, structured, and transparent. They guide learners on what constitutes high-quality work and provide feedback for improvement. Now, let us talk about student performance in alternative assessment. In alternative assessments, student performance go beyond paper and pencil tests. Here are some performance-based tasks that require rubrics for fair and detailed assessment. Number 1, oral presentation or demonstration. These are individual or group presentations explaining a topic or demonstrating a skill. Assessment criteria may include clarity of speech, content accuracy, use of visual aids, organization, and engagement. Number 2, dramatic or creative performances. Students may express learning through skits, plays, or interpretative dance. Rubrics evaluate creativity, expression, relevance to the topic, emotional delivery, and collaboration. Number 3, public speaking. Students deliver speeches, usually to persuade or inform. Rubrics measure coherence, argument structure, voice projection, confidence, and audience engagement. Number 4, athletic skills demonstration or competition. In PE or sports events, rubrics can be used to assess correct techniques, coordination, discipline, effort, and teamwork. Rubrics are also useful in evaluating tangible students' products. These can be categorized into 4 types. Number 1, visual products. These include posters, diagrams, videos, models, and infographics. Criteria may include creativity, design, relevance, and clarity. Number 2, kinesthetic products. These are output demonstrated through physical movement like choreographed dance routine, dramatic role plays, or PE performances. Rubrics assess physical execution, coordination, timing, and interpretation. Number 3, written products. Written outputs such as essay, reports, journals, and poems are common in many subjects. Rubrics focus on grammar, structure, coherence, content, and organization. Number 4, verbal products. Spoken outputs such as interviews, storytelling, or oral reports. Rubrics assess fluency, pronunciation, vocabulary use, and delivery. There are four main types of rubrics used in assessment. General or generic rubric. This type of rubric can be applied to various tasks across subjects. It's flexible and useful for multiple performance types, but may lack detailed alignment with specific tasks. Task-specific rubric. This rubric is created for a particular activity or assignment. It includes detailed criteria and performance level specific to the exact task being evaluated. Holistic rubric. This rubric gives a single overall score based on a general impression of the student's works. It is quicker to use but doesn't provide detailed feedback on individual criteria. Analytic rubric. This rubric separates the task into components and scores each part individually. It provides detailed criterion-specific feedback that helps students understand where they excel or need improvement. Characteristic of a good rubric. A well-designed rubric is more than just a scoring sheet. It must meet the following characteristics to be effective. Number 1, explicit. The rubric must be clear and easy to understand. Students should be able to see exactly what is expected of them. Number 2, aligned. The rubric must be connected to the learning objectives. Every criterion should reflect what students are meant to learn or demonstrate. Number 3, authentic. The rubric must assess meaningful, real-world tasks that allow students to demonstrate relevant skills and knowledge. Number 4, valid. The rubric must measure what it is supposed to measure. It should accurately reflect students' learning in relation to the intended outcomes. Number 5, diagnostic. The rubric should help identify students' strengths and weaknesses, providing useful feedback for improvement and future learning. Basic steps in developing rubrics. Creating an effective rubric involves a systematic process. Here are the essential steps. Step 1, identify the learning outcomes and performance tasks to be evaluated. Start with a clear understanding of what you want students to learn and how they will demonstrate it. Step 2, identify the quality attributes or indicators of the performance task. What characteristics will indicate successful performance? For instance, organization, creativity, or content accuracy. Step 3, determine measurable criteria. Turn those attributes to concrete, observable criteria that you can rate or score. Step 4, determine the benchmarks and point values. Decide how many performance level your rubric will have and assign values or labels such as excellent, satisfactory, and needs improvement. Step 5, write the benchmark of performance description for each criterion. Describe what each level of performance looks like. Make the description specific and observable to ensure fair grading.
Introduction. Now we learn something really useful and practical, how to create a rubric. A rubric helps us to clearly measure a student performance in tasks like projects, presentations, or even baking cookies. Purpose of the lesson. Our goal today is to understand how to create a rubric step by step to make it easier. We use an example baking chocolate chip cookies like in a class. Okay, step number 1. Identify the learning outcome and the task. The first step is to decide what the students are expected to do in our example. Learning outcome. Students should be able to bake chocolate chip cookies. Step number 2. Identify what makes a good performance. Next, we ask, what does good performance look like? The cookies should be delicious. They should be crispy on the edges, soft and chewy in the middle. Step 3. Decide what to measure or the criteria. Now we set a specific things we want to check or evaluate. In this example, we will look at the first one is the number of chocolate chips. Second is the texture. Next is the color, the taste, and the lastly is the richness or fat content. Step number 4, set the scores and levels. We then choose how to grade each criterion. In this case, we use 4 levels. Number 4 is very good, number 3 is good, 2 is need improvements, and number 1 is poor. Number 5, describe what score means. Now, comes to the most important part, describing what each score means for each criterion. Let's look at the highest score. Very good. First, chocolate chips in every bite. Second, chew in the middle, crispy on the edges. Third, golden brown color, tastes like homemade baked cookies. And 5 or 5th, rich and creamy in flavor. Then, we do the same for other scores like good, needs, improvement, and full. So for the recap, remember to make a rubric, follow these 5 steps. Know what students should learn or learning outcome. Know what good performance look like or indicators. Choose what you want to measure or the criteria and set the level of performance or score points. Describe each level clearly to scriptors. Rubrics makes grading fair, clear, and helpful for both teachers and students. Transfer. Apply what you learn. Let's now reflect on how we can apply what we learned. Imagine, you are designing a rubric for performance-based task or product output in any subject you are teaching or studying. Let's discuss the 5 steps in rubric development. Number 1, determine learning outcomes. Choose the type of rubric, define the criteria, and develop the levels of performance. Review and revise the rubric. As we go through each step, consider what makes a criterion effective and observable. How do we ensure clarity and alignment with learning outcomes? Evaluate. Rubric quality check. Now, let's examine what makes a rubric high quality. Take a look at the checklist shown on the screen, the textbook or module. Let's reflect together. Does the rubric clearly define expectations? Are their performance levels distinct and descriptive? It is aligned with the learning goals? Feel free to share your thoughts. For example, use in or reuse. Having evaluated what makes a rubric high quality, let's take a moment to turn inward. How do these insights connect with our own experiences? It's time to reflect. Stay. Designing, evaluating, reflect. Number 1. What feature of the rubric identifies students' level of mastery with each criteria? A. Criteria. B. Description. C. Performance level. D. Point values. Number 2. Ms. Cruz is planning to develop a rubric that she can use to assess her students' performance in individual book review, reporting, and in group oral presentation for her 21st century literature in the Philippines and the world class. What kind of rubric is applicable for both performance tasks? Letter A, analytic. Letter B, general. Letter C, holistic. And letter D, task specific. Number 3. Mr. Arevalo requires students in his understanding culture, society, and political class to write an essay on the roles in the country, evaluate his students' work. He plans to use different criteria separately, namely content, organization, position, stance, development, support, and grammar, language, and mechanics. What type of rubric should Mr. Arevalo use? Letter A, analytic. Letter B, general. C, holistic. And D, task specific. Number 4. What type of rubric will you use when you want a quick snapshot of the student's achievement or performance and when you feel that a single dimension is enough to define the quality of their performance? Letter A, analytic. Letter B, general. C, holistic. And last one, letter D, task specific. Number 5. What are the characteristics of a good rubric? Number 6. What are the steps in creating a rubric? And last question, number 7. How can you make rubric relevant and useful to students? Stay. Designing, evaluating rubrics. So now, we will evaluate our own skills, designing a rubric, and explore ways to improve using a guide called Sustain. This chart is part of the Sustain framework. It helps us in evaluate our current skill level in designing rubrics. Let's go over each level. The first one is proficient. It means that I know this very well. I can teach others how to make one. Next is master, meaning I can do it by myself, but I sometimes make mistakes. Next is developing. It's that I'm getting there, but I need help to improve. The last one is novice. It means that I can't do it yet. I need support to make a good rubric. Learning doesn't stop here. Keep exploring, asking questions, and growing. Until next time, goodbye and stay inspired.